Hi everybody, Kathy Syrett from Confident Leader Journey here, and we're going to look at another angle on diversity today in this vlog. We're going to start examining the issue of inclusion. And I was in a conversation with a fellow coach the other day, and she said it's surprising how much effort genuine inclusion takes. And I thought, you know what? That's the truest thing I've heard about inclusion for a while. So this is the interesting thing, is it's not just enough to be inclusive or have the intention of being inclusive. There are stages of inclusivity. Now, some of you might know the learning cycle that goes through the 4 stages: unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, and then unconscious competence. For those of you who haven't, this is kind of a logical stage of learning new things, new skills, new capabilities, new behaviors. So initially, we're unaware of how we are not doing the behavior or skill. That's unconscious incompetence. Then, based on feedback or learning new things, we become aware that we're not very good at something. That's conscious incompetence. That's a very uncomfortable place to be. Then as we learn and practice the new skills, we develop conscious competence, where as long as we're thinking about it consciously, we can manage the new skill and behavior, but it takes that conscious effort. And then, of course, ultimately, we become so practiced at this new behavior or skill that we can do it without having to consciously think, and that's where we call it unconscious competence. Okay? Now, I think this learning cycle is really useful when we start thinking about inclusion. A lot of us are unconsciously non-inclusive. As we learn more, we will become aware of how we're non-inclusive. As we then learn how to address this, we can then become consciously inclusive. And then ultimately, our goal would be to be unconsciously inclusive without having to consciously think about it. Now, this sounds a bit theoretical, but let me give you a very straightforward example of this from the conversation I was having with my fellow coach. Now, some of you may know that I've been involved in founding a new charity organisation. It's called the Association of Neurodivergent Coaches. It has aims of being of advocacy for neurodivergent coaches and their clients, for providing support, resources, and education for people who want to be neurodivergent informed, and also to be a platform for where neurodiverse clients and coaches can find each other. There's also an element of community there. And so we want to build up the resources on the platform. We also believe that with neurodiversity, what we really want to do is share people's lived experiences. So you're hearing it from the people themselves who've had the direct experience rather than theoretical analyses, etc. There are plenty of places to go for that. So talking to my colleague who's becoming involved with me on building the resources on the website, which isn't live yet, by the way. We have a Facebook page, the Association of Neurodivergent Coaches, and we have a private group for coaches who are themselves neurodivergent to provide a community where we can talk about our concerns, issues, challenges, successes, etc. Just so you know. So you can find us on Facebook. But we were discussing how can we get those short 5 to 10 minute pieces of input on the lived experience of people who are neurodivergent. Okay. And so we came up with the idea of people maybe recording videos of themselves talking about their lives being neurodivergent, and then maybe another vignette they might do, which would be their experience of being coached by a neurotypical coach while they themselves were neurodivergent, what that was like for them. Then a third topic they can do a vignette on would be their experience of becoming a coach whilst neurodivergent. For a lot of the organisations, the the processes aren't necessarily too friendly if you're dyslexic or autistic. And then another video at the end about what they bring to the table as a coach who is themselves neurodivergent. Okay, so we're asking them to do 4 short videos. And then we're sitting there, and my colleague Tracy says, what if they're not comfortable doing videos? And I went, you're right. We're talking about human beings. Not everybody, whether you're neurotypical or neurodiverse, not everybody's comfortable doing a video. So we went, okay, right then. Well, let's say that they can do a written piece if they want. Okay, what if that's challenging as well? All right, so they can do it in an audio format. Okay, what if they're not comfortable doing that? What can they do? And as we kept digging into the layers of the challenges that our community might face in terms of some of the things that they might find difficult or challenging, we realized that we were having to put a lot of effort into thinking about how everyone could have equal access and be included in sharing their stories on our website, regardless of any communication challenges they might have. And therefore, how we had to be open to various formats and how we had to have some systems and processes. So one of the options that's on there now is for myself or Tracy to have a conversation with someone, and then we'll write a piece for them that they can approve. Something like that might work. Some people would prefer an interview. Some people would prefer, yeah, and it's just what started out as something that I just randomly went, well, let's have people do videos, because guess what? I'm comfortable doing videos. I would have been unconsciously excluding a whole load of people from participating in developing those resources if I had stayed at that point. I was unconsciously exclusive. So that's where I was. And then when Tracy shared that from her perspective, some of the people she knows would find that challenging, I became conscious of how non-inclusive I was being. And then Tracy and I worked together, consciously thinking about what would be inclusive. Now, what we're actually going to do is on the Facebook group we've got, we are putting this out as a suggestion. We'd like to have your stories. Here are the things we've already thought of. If there's another way you would like to do this, let us know and we will support you in doing it, and we will provide resources for doing it. Okay. Now, do you see what I mean about the conscious effort it takes to be genuinely inclusive? And think about it. This is just a resource site, a web page with information on it. It's not going to be interactive. It's a one-time event of creating these things. It's about as simple as you can get on the inclusivity scale. And yet we spent a good 30 minutes discussing this, and we'll probably spend more time working out how to do it in future. So what does this mean for us as leaders in an organization? Well, I'm going to challenge you. Where are you on your inclusivity cycle? Are you unconsciously exclusive? Okay. And I challenge you to have a look at your systems, your processes, and see where they are unintentionally and unconsciously excluding people at a very core level. If you make all your decisions in meetings, you are excluding a lot of introverts from the decision-making cycle, because asking them to make the decision in the meeting in front of lots of other people and share their thoughts when they'd like to go away and have processing time is exclusionary. Okay? So something as simple as how those decisions are made. Are meetings for sharing information, then you give people time to go away and process it, and then you bring people back? How do people express their views? Do you have systems and processes that are inclusive or exclusive? So my challenge to you for this week and this week's vlog is I want you to consciously explore everything you do in your organization and ask yourself, how can this be more inclusive? We've already talked about the value of cognitive diversity. We've already talked about the value of many aspects of neurodiversity. On the simplest level of the Myers-Briggs type inventory, are your systems and processes and structures, are they optimized to include everybody and every style in that inventory? How are you personally working? Are you working in a way that will unintentionally exclude people who are different to you? It's interesting, isn't it? This is a really challenging one. And if there's one message I want you to take away from this vlog, it is the fact that inclusion is a conscious effort. Now, go and have a play with this and maybe share back with me in any way you like some of your findings when you start applying conscious effort to this question of inclusion in the workplace. Take care, Kathy Syret from Confident Leader Journey. Please do come and find the Association of Neurodivergent Coaches on Facebook. It literally is called the Association of Neurodivergent Coaches. That's the page. Come and find us and join us as we start this new initiative to support and empower our neurodiverse population, both coaches and clients. Okay, I hope to see you there. Take care.